Hi there, it's Bike Touring Mike here. This is my Kona Sutra 2018 model that I've owned for a little bit more than 2 years. I've had it on numerous tours, including 2 international ones, one in the Czech Republic and one in France. I've ridden on this bike for about 5,000 kilometers, mostly on paved roads, but also on a few gravel roads here and there. This is the XL model, or 58 centimeters. As a reference, I'm 6'2" or 188 centimeters tall. So the bike comes with the SCHWALBE Marathon MONDIAL tires, and SCHWALBE Marathon tires are kind of the go-to tire among bike tourists. Over the 2 years I've had this bike, I have still yet to have a single flat on one of the tires. So they're really puncture resistant. So while I'm down here, I can speak a little bit about the wheel as well, which is really stable built. It has 36 spokes. My rim is 19 millimeters wide, and I think the newer ones are 23 millimeters wide, which means you can fit a fatter tire, so you're able to go on more gravel adventures. And the rim is also tubeless ready, so you can convert the tires into tubeless if that's your cup of tea. The tire that came along with my bike is 37 millimeters wide, and I think the newer ones has a tire that's 40 millimeters wide. So my bike is the first model that came with through axles on the front and rear wheel instead of quick releases. And that means that it takes a couple of more seconds to get the wheel loose from the frame, but instead you get a really stable tire that is always flush in the dropouts. And that's important when you have disc brakes, as you do on this bike. If you have a wheel that's a little bit off, the disc is just gonna rub against the brake pads when you don't want it to, and it's gonna cause a lot of noise and agony as well. The Kona Sutra also comes bundled with a Brooks B17 saddle, which is kind of a go-to saddle among bike tourists. Now, with that said, this is kind of a watershed topic. A lot of people really love their Brooks saddles, while other ones can't stand it. The thing is that when you start riding with it, it's gonna feel a bit uncomfortable, but give it a few weeks or so, and the saddle, which is made of leather, is gonna start shaping itself after you. After a month or so, you're gonna have a perfect fit between you and the saddle, and it's gonna feel really comfortable riding it. And while we're on the topic of watershed topics, the Kona Sutra comes with bar and shifters. The right one, the rear one, is indexed, while the front one is a friction shifter. And the neat thing about having a friction shifter is that you can manually adjust the position of the front derailleur to avoid any rubbing of the chain. And the benefit of having these instead of normal STI shifters is that they require minimum maintenance when you're out on your tour. The brakes are mechanical disc brakes called TRP spire brakes. Even though they are mechanical, they act like hydraulic disc brakes by pulling both brake pads in at the same time. I haven't really done any adjustments on the bike, more than added a headset spacer to be able to raise the height of the handlebar to get a more upright seat position. And maintenance wise, I haven't even changed the chain yet, but I'm gonna do that pretty soon here. The only thing I've added to the bike that didn't come with the bike when I bought it are these lowriders called XTREME LR1 lowriders. These are pretty budget lowriders, but I'm really happy with them since they're pretty slimmed down and they've worked really well for me over the years. As you can see, I had to use this loop mount to be able to attach them to the fork, since the fork only has 2 bosses. From the 2019 model, the Kona Sutra now comes with 3 bosses on the fork, so you have a lot more variations to fit various lowriders, and you can also fit a SALSA anything cage on the fork. You can fit 3 water balls on the frame, and you can also fit 2 more water balls on the fork but I've decided to use these bosses for my lowriders instead. One thing here I want to add though is that you can't really fit one of these big balls on the underside of the down tube, because the ball is just gonna hit the fender all the time. So I just use two larger balls up here, and I have a smaller 500 milliliter water bottle on the underside of the down tube. So you're still able to carry 2 liters of water with you, which should be enough for most people. So I've been getting a lot of questions about the bike since I made the last review. And the first one is regarding the rear rack. A lot of people want to know the brand of the rear rack. And it's really just a stock rear rack. I don't really know the name of it, but it has served me well over the years. The only damage I have gotten to it is just a little bit of paint chip that has come loose when I transported my bike on a plane once. Another question people have been asking me a lot about is how the Brooks saddle reacts to rain. When you're riding it, it's not that big of an issue since you're sitting on it and protecting it from the rain from up above. And the fenders do the rest of the job since they're protecting the saddle on the underside. The thing is that you might want to protect it during the night if there's a chance of rain. So what I do is I just put a plastic bag on top of it. You can also buy a ridiculously expensive seat cover from Brooks if you have a lot of money lying over. But just put a plastic bag on top of it and it should be fine during the night. And another question I get asked about all the time, and I'm sure a lot of you get asked about it as well, is how much does your bike weigh? And my bike without any panniers and pedals weighs in at 14.5 kilo. And remember, this is the XL one. This is the biggest model of the Kona Sutras, so I can't really talk about the other models, but my guess would be that all the models come in between 13.5 to 14.5 kilos. What's my overall assessment of the Kona Sutra touring bike? Well, if we go back to the time I bought it, I compared 4 different bikes. It was the Kona Sutra, the Trek 520, the SALSA Marrakesh, and the Surly disc tracker. They're all in the $1,500 price range. So I compared the different components of the bike and realized that this one has a Shimano Deore group set, while the other ones have Shimano Alivio. So this is a little bit better equipped than the other bikes. Plus it came with a Brooks saddle, SCHWALBE marathon tires, and a rear rack. So it was really a no-brainer for me to choose this bike. And after riding it for about 2 years, I really don't have anything to complain about. It's a really fun bike to ride, and it's really stable and sturdy as well. And I'm able to take it out on small gravel roads, as here in this forest, and I have had really fond memories of it during the first 2 years. So I really can't do anything but to recommend this bike to other bike tourists. If you enjoyed watching this review and are into bike touring videos, you can probably find a lot of binge-worthy content on my YouTube channel. A good starting point would be to watch my latest tour along the Vindel River Trail here in the northern part of Sweden. And you can do so by clicking the link up in the corner. Otherwise, until next time, have a good one.